So what happens then to life, the life that is experienced through you, your life? What happens to your life after awakening? If it doesn't change at all, and perhaps there are challenging circumstances now, or uncomfortable circumstances, or limiting circumstances. Well, if nothing changes, then what's the point? Is there such a thing as perfection? Again, we have to surf the paradox from the perspective of the self, from the one who is seeking, from the one who is on the path. We must abandon all hope of perfection. We must abandon all expectations of a better life, because just like the idea of a better self that gets created after awakening, it is an imagination set up by the self to keep the destination always in perpetual future. And this is not how it is. This is not the doorway. The doorway is here now, exactly as you are, however broken you are, however broken your life is, whether circumstances are to your liking or not. It's right here. So first of all, from the perspective of self, to abandon all ideas of perfection. Because life, which includes the world as we see it, as we experience it, can never be perfect from the perspective of the self. We live in different cultures, different nations, different situations, different backgrounds, different circumstances. On that level, on a global level, on a collective level, it cannot be perfect. It cannot be perfect according to the self. 7 billion, or however many there are, individuals cannot all have a perfect life. According to the perspective of the self, whether that perfection is that everyone is at peace, everyone is loving, everyone lives an abundant life, a joyful life, an easeful life. We live in a world of duality, we live in a world of polarity. We live on a certain level in a world of free will, in which each individual takes or doesn't take responsibility for their own environment, inner and outer environment. So from the perspective of the self that is seeking perfection externally, this is a fantasy. So then perfection in our own lives, what does that mean? To have more, to be more, to do more, to be happy, to be comfortable, to have no stress, to have no challenges, to meet no obstacles, to have everything I need and want. From the perspective of the self, another imagination that is somehow married up with this idea of awakening, as if it would turn us into some super being, some superpower. So what is perfection? What actually takes place after awakening? What changes, if anything, if the circumstances don't change? If life and its ebb and flow, its yin and yang, its push and pull, its dark and light, still continues, because the nature of life is yin and yang, birth, death, polarity. Then what does change, if anything? What changes, and this is fundamental, is that resistance to what is comes to an end. Resistance to what is here, resistance to my experience, this experience, comes to an end. There is no longer an argument with what is. This changes everything. Because if there is no resistance, then we are not in opposition with life. And we are not separate from life. The sense of self that stands outside of life, trying to control it, or deny it, or reject it, or take possession of it, this comes to an end. And when this comes to an end, yes, there's a kind of perfection. The perfection is that what is here and what is being experienced is life itself, however it shows up. And there's a great beauty or preciousness in this. There's a great richness in this. When the poor me, the separate poor me, the victim me, the one who is arguing, this shouldn't be happening, I shouldn't be feeling this, comes to an end, then it's like the casing around the self that kept us in this tight knot, in this contraction, comes undone. Therein lies the perfection.